But one thing that buyers need to be on the lookout for, kind of a buyer beware thing, is look out for houses that have a frequent sales history. Houses that have traded hands many times over the past few years. This can be a big red flag or warning sign for you. And it kind of depends on the property. Like, for example, if you're looking at a one-bedroom condo in a building that has, 600 units, then it might not be so uncommon to see units change hands a lot, because a one-bedroom condo is kind of built for the single life, right? Somebody who just wants to own something for a couple years instead of rent, then they sell and move on. So that might not be as much of a red flag versus a house in a neighborhood like this that's in a flood zone, okay, and might have had flood damage in the past, or has some kind of structural issue. Homes that change hands too frequently can often indicate underlying maintenance issues, problems with the plumbing, problems with the roof, problems with the foundation, or they might just have poor craftsmanship in general. A lot of these home flips were done very shoddily. And if it's a recently flipped house, somebody might have bought it and then they realize how much lipstick has been put on the pig and it's still just a pig. Well, they might try it and pass it along to you in hopes that the next person won't notice that until it's too late either. And there's other things that can come up too that you might not think about. Like sometimes it's just a weird layout of the home or a design problem, like the rooms are too small, or you can't fit a king size bed in there, or the way the hallway connects to the bedroom makes it too difficult to move things in and out. Just little things like that you don't really notice until you're living in the house. And it could even be a neighborhood issue, for example, like it can be in a flight path that you didn't know about. There can be a lot more noise or traffic in the area than you might have realized. There could be crime and safety issues where vandalism rates are high or car break-ins are high. And if you didn't research that ahead of time, and then you come out and see your window smashed in the morning, you find that stuff out the hard way. Sometimes it can even boil down to just being in a bad HOA. A lot of people might move into the neighborhood and realize that there's too many people on a power trip, or things just aren't run well in general, or they try to look for any little problem and then they try to foreclose on you and put a lien on your property. Also things that are kind of tough to find out ahead of time, and the seller doesn't really have much of an incentive to let the buyer know that's the case because they want out too. So frequent turnover doesn't always indicate that the house is something that you should stay away from. But if you notice it in the sales history and you see that in the past 10 years, the house has been sold 5 times, well, that should be a red flag enough for you to do a little extra research on the neighborhood itself, the HOA if there is one, and ask more detailed questions when you're in the due diligence period of this property in order to make sure that you're not getting yourself into a world of problems.